20 is like, yes, I'm turning 20. No issue with turning 20. Turning 30, some people are kind of on the fence. And I was like, at first I was a little hesitant turning 30, and then it's like, okay, 30 is cool. 30 is cool. And it's like once I transitioned into the 30s, like 32 was like a great number for me. It was really one of those spaces where I was just like, yes, I can really do what I want to do. I can really, and honestly, I really feel like 32 is where I started to become me. I was already married for a few years. I had 2 children by that point. They were growing. But 32 was really just kind of where I got in that space where I said, you know what, I really need to get clear on who I am. I was always, I'm the middle child, and I take that middle child role very seriously. And I really struggled with middle child syndrome for a very long time. Still struggle, I'm gonna be honest, I still struggle with that. And always getting lost in the middle. I have 2 very outspoken sisters, and so they made the most noise. And as we know, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. So I was always the one kind of in the cut. And it's interesting because it was around that same time, around 32, that's when I found out my nickname is Baby Hideout. But it's true, and it really reminded me just how serious that is, and how much I struggle with asking for help, how much I was so determined to be independent. I was determined to do everything on my own and figure it out. I don't want to have to need people. I don't want to have to ask people. I want to help other people. But if I'm helping other people, I can't ask for help in return, because in my mind it just didn't make sense. I have to work it out. If I'm growing up and I'm going to be this mature person, this independent person that I believe my parents raised me to be, that equated to not asking for help. That equated to me taking on everything and just making it work. And again, that as women, as wives, as mothers, that's what we do. We make stuff work. We will stretch $1. We will, stretch a pair of shoes, turn some closed-toe shoes into an open toe and work it out, Whatever you gotta do, we will work stuff out, That's just in our nature. That's what we do. So we just get in this space, and that was me for so long, constantly figuring out how to make it work on my own. I didn't want to ask my money with my parents. When I did buy my car, I didn't want to ask my parents for any money. I wanted to do it on my own. When I finally bought my house, I wanted to do it on my own. I didn't take my parents with me. When I bought my wedding dress, I was like, I don't want anybody to go. I just want to do this on my own. I just want to make it work. And I was looking at my bank account, and I said, I want this wedding, but we might just have to do past this office and work it out. My mother was like, no, you gotta have this. I got you. And I was like, I don't want to ask for help, because in my mind I always thought, if I ask for help, then I owe you. If I ask you for help, I naturally owe you. And that was my struggle. And once I realized that was the challenge for me, I constantly felt like I have all of this weight, I have all of this life that I'm living right now, but if I ask anybody for help, I'm constantly indebted to every single person that helps me. But that is so far from the truth. As we mentioned earlier, the reason why we have community is to support one another. But it's not always a give and take. It's not always supposed to be reciprocated by that same person. Very rarely is it to be reciprocated by that same person. And even within our marriages, sometimes we have to recognize that our cup is going to be filled elsewhere. That doesn't mean another man, but there's a reason why we have girlfriends. It really bothers me when I hear women say, oh, my man, oh, my husband, he is my everything. He can't be. He can't be. He literally cannot be. I mean, I want you to think about that for a moment. What if God set it up so that when you got married, you literally had to cut everybody else off in your life? think about that. It's just you. If you want to be that literal, and it's just you and me forever, Sarah. Just imagine what if you just, as soon as you get married, y'all just go off to your little cottage somewhere, and the only person that can do anything for you, the only person you can see is your husband, and you're the only person he can see. What would that life be like? It would be a whole lot of Cain and Abel going on. Okay? Seriously, if we had to seclude ourselves from the world just because we got married, it would never be. Now, so yes, our husbands are brought into our lives to help support us and helps to take us further. But the whole idea is to go further together. The whole idea is to go higher together. So he's supposed to be a support system. And yes, he can be your main go-to. But we still have a whole community of people that are here to support you, whether in marriage, whether in motherhood, whether in life. And that is what we miss so often. And that has been my struggle for so long. And I still struggle. But I have done so much better once I truly realized what Baby Hideout really meant in my life and how it really affected me and how it really showed up in every area of my life. On the job, I was struggling. But I didn't want to ask my supervisors for help because I didn't want to look incompetent. I didn't want to be passed up for a promotion. I didn't want to, because I had some petty supervisors who would be that way. So I didn't want to ask for help. I wanted to figure it out on my own. I didn't want to ask my parents for help because in my mind, once I turned 18, I was an adult. And adults take care of their own business. So I wasn't going to ask my parents for help. I was constantly in a space of seclusion. And it's only because I did it to myself. No one ever said, this is how you have to be. That's how I perceived the world. That's how I assumed my life was supposed to be. So as we transition into marriage and as we recognize the value of community, I want you all to actually do me a favor. Go into, does everybody have a gift bag at this point? Well, let me ask this. Is there anyone who did not receive a gift bag? Okay, great. We're going to need that in just a minute. But first, let me just share. Once I realized that I was in that space of really needing to come into my own, I had to make a decision. And that decision was, I really just had to do any and everything I could to be Kristen. I really needed to find out who Kristen was. So I started the journey in November of 2015. And what I decided was I knew I needed to leave that good government job. That was definitely weighing on me. And out of all of the stressors that were going on in life, that was my number one. So I went to my partner. I said, I gotta go. He said, okay, not now. It's like, oh, okay. And something else you need to know about Kristen is that Kristen is very stubborn. Yes. So I put my intentions out there. You're not immediately on board, that's fine. But I've already made my decision. It's already made, so this is how it's going to go. I just won't include you in the rest of the plans because you already told me that you're not on board. So I'll just let you know when it's done, okay? All right. Okay. That's okay. Okay, that's how I live my life because I was coming into my own. And that's always been my own. Yes. So, but I had to make that decision. I had to make that decision. How do I get away from here? How do I really live the life that I truly feel God is calling me to? And how do I just enjoy life again? I enjoyed my independence when I was single, and I was so grateful to get married. But I got lost. I got lost in being a mom. I got lost in being a wife. And I was truly, truly just keeping my head above water. And I said, I don't want to spend the rest of my life like this. I was so grateful that my husband and I were able to move past that point of the separation talk, and we talked about how to stay together and how to work. But I said, in order to do that, something's got to shift, because we can't keep going in this continuous circle over and over and saying we want to work things out, and then we go right back to the routine. You go to work, I go to work, I get the kids, you go to school. We might get a date night in once a month, maybe. You know, I'm running to this conference, that conference. I'm doing all these extra things. You're doing homework. When do we make that shift? How do we get to that space and say, if it's truly about us, how do we do that? And one of the things that I had to recognize, that I had to get confident in me. I had to get clear on who Kristen is in order to truly bring the right Kristen to the marriage. So if anything was going to shift, I had to start with me. So before I could get to the we, I had to start with me. So I made that decision, and as uncomfortable as he was, and I was too, it's definitely a scary move, but I made the decision to transition out of my job. And I thought about it, and I prayed about it, and I thought about it, and I prayed about it. And I initially talked about it probably a good year beforehand, and it was the not yet. And, you know, God is no respecter of person, and neither am I. So if God is not going to get on board with my plans, I need him to check me later, because I still got plans, okay? So I need to do what I got to do. And he was like, not yet. And I said, you know, and then I got to throw the temper tantrum, and we got to go through all of that. So I got to the space, and I said, you know what? God, I'm ready. And he said, okay. So I went back to my husband. I said, it's time. I gotta go. I gotta do me. Living the vows needs me. You need me. I need me. These girls need me. There's no room for this good government job no more. So we made the plan, and he finally understood that I was ready and it was going to happen. So I made that transition. In February of last year, I gave my notice, and I gave them a full month's notice. I was very kind, very kind. Gave them that full month's notice, and on March 17th of 2016 was my last day. 1 year yesterday. Yes. Still yet holding on. Gets dark sometimes, but the lights are still on. Yes. No, but and it was really, and it was so interesting, because I was in that space where I finally just said, yes, this is what I'm going to do, and I felt good about it when I sent in that submission, the resignation notice, and talked to my manager about it. She was disappointed, and I wasn't. Wasn't at all. And I, you know, so then I went home, because I did it on a Friday, so I was like, okay. So I went back to work on Monday, and I'm like, do I want to take it back? No. I really felt good about it. And as scary as it was to make that transition, I was at peace with it. And that was the first huge shift that I made to really focus on me and really get to who I needed to be. So once I made that transition in March of last year, the next thing I had to do, I declared that 2016 was going to be the year of Kristen. I was going to focus on me, no more suffering in silence, no more of all of these challenges that I'm going through. So the next thing I said was, my baby is turning 4, and I'm still carrying this weight. Gotta let it go. Gotta let it go, because I had been on that yo-yo back and forth. I intentionally knew we were going to have children back to back, so I said I'm not going to worry about losing weight in between. I'm going to just lose it all after I have the baby. And I tried, and I failed. And I tried, and I failed. I love potato chip shell. Potatoes, mac and cheese, the big chicken, big piece of chicken. I love all of it. I love all of it. Ice cream is my bestest friend in the whole wide world. So it was a constant struggle, but that was also one of the areas where I had to take notice, and I had to recognize that my confidence in myself was affected by my weight, but that also affected my marriage. I couldn't wear some of the stuff that he was buying stuff and stuff packages coming in. I'm like, what? That is too little. What is that? What is that? I can't. I'm like, you see? It don't matter. You're fine. No, I was not confident. And it's one of those things, no matter as much as he can say how beautiful I am and how wonderful I am, I've got to know that. I've got to be able to say yes. And I couldn't. So I made a decision. I said, I've got to do something about this for good this time. So I made a decision. I said, let me start small. I'm going to commit. And I started running 2 days a week. I said, just 2 days a week. I'm going to get up, actually get out, start exercising regularly. That 2 days a week quickly turned into 6 days a week. I joined a fitness program, and they offered a 6-week challenge to lose 20 pounds. And I said, if I can actually lose 20 pounds in 6 weeks, I said, you know how good I would feel? There's a lot of work in that 6 weeks. Oh my gosh, and the meal plan was stupid. I was so mad. I was so mad at the meal plan. I said, this is not the way you treat people. This is not what you do. It's not what you do, but I was committed. I had made a commitment to myself, and I made a financial investment. And again, I'm frugal, so I need my coins. Okay, I need my coins. But I made the commitment to myself, and after that 6 weeks, I was able to drop 23 pounds, and I was so yes! I released all 23 of them, and I said, let's do it again. I'm pumped. I'm ready. I was like, start seeing the little back. When you can get the back muscles, you know you're doing something. You know, yes. You lose the back muscles, the wings start popping out. So I did it again, and it was a lot tougher the second time around. It was difficult the first time around, but the second time around, no sweets, no starches. Baked chicken with no skin, no barbecue sauce. It was tough, and the workouts were tough. And I was getting up. Now, mind you, when I was working that good government job and had to be there by 9 o'clock, I was getting there at 8:59 daily, struggling to get out of the bed at 6:30. He's like, I'm leaving. Are you going to get up? I'm like, get there. I'm gonna get up. To just a couple of months later, where I'm getting up at 4 a.m. 5 days a week to go work out because I needed to take care of me. I needed to make that commitment to me, and I made that commitment for 13 straight weeks over the summer. Over the summer. And I was committed. And that second time around, I was able to drop another 20 pounds, and I was so excited. So excited. I went to cocky. I was just like, yes! You really couldn't tell me nothing at that point. But it was just so refreshing because I could literally feel my shift. I could really, literally feel my confidence coming back. Because I was cute. Tiffany knows, she's known me since middle school. I was cute. I had the little body, had the little shape, all that. High school, I was straight. Something happened around college. I don't know. And then it just kept happening. It just kept happening. But I was so confident, and I literally could see the world differently simply because of how I felt about myself. And that's a piece that so many of us miss. When we feel absolutely confident in ourselves, we are clear on who we are. When we're clear on our purpose, we're clear who's in our circle and who's not, it makes the world so much brighter. So much more amazing, and it makes you so much more inviting simply because of how you see yourself and how you present yourself to the world. So I want you to take this opportunity now for everybody who is, actually Tiffany, those, I gave you a folder with the list. Can you pass that out for me, please? Actually, where's Felicia?
Are you going to do the yellow papers with them also, or just?
No, just that one. Just that one. Raymond, if you can help her, just make sure everyone gets a sheet. So I want you to think about, we talked about earlier some of the challenges that come up, and we've talked about the community and just where we need to make shifts in our own lives. And as we talk about today, saying I do to you, I really want you to think about how often you say I do to you. Because one of the things that I've learned along this journey, and as I said, for me, it truly just started within the last couple of years. I really wanted to get clear on who I was and really just come into my own, really get to a space where I absolutely loved me no matter who was around. And making 2016 the year of Kristen was one of the best things that I did, because I really got to a space where I was literally taking my life back. I was committed to no longer doing this wishy-washy back and forth stuff with my marriage. I knew I wanted my marriage. I knew I wanted my marriage with that man. And so I was committed to doing what we had to do to make it work. I was committed to taking care of me and seeing me in a more confident light. I was committed to doing whatever I needed to do to make my life enjoyable again. And in order to do that, I had to start with what I needed in my life. So what I want each of you to do is think about how much time, how much me time you get or you take every week. Who in here can honestly say they get me time regularly? Oh, the ladies in the back with no little kids. Oh. No, seriously, who you give me? What's regularly for you, Tanya?
I do every single Friday night. Me and my husband go out on a date, and then when I come home, I go in my bedroom, close my door, and that's my time to binge on Netflix or read a book or whatever.
Okay. Karen, how frequently for you?
On a weekly basis, I'll just go and read, or go for a walk, or I do things like they nourish my inner girl. I'll play jacks and color. And
Awesome. And I love that. That's a great segue, because I really want you to think about the things that make you happy. What are those things that you absolutely enjoy? And I want you to write them down. I want you to take that list that Tiffany or Raymond just passed out to you and write down what is it that you absolutely love to do. It can be as major or as minor. It can be sitting down to play jacks. It can be reading a book. It can be going on a vacation. Whatever it is that you love to do, I want you to write that down. I don't have any family around here. You moved from out of town for a purpose. You may have needed to get rid of those people and find your real village. So find them. Don't get caught up in seclusion. Get to that space, whether you're in your church or your mosque, or whether you're in your women's organization, or whether it's your children's school. Whatever it is, find your community, find your village, and trust somebody. We should each have a minimum of 5 people, 5 individual people that you can trust with your children at any point, and that you can trust with your husband at any point. Oh, two's the minimum. We might need to change the numbers for the husband a little. Whatever works for you. But we have to get to that space. We have to get to that space where we can truly. There's too many people. Oh, I don't trust anybody with my kids. I don't want to. They just got to be with me. You can. You can. But you do need to find a trustworthy village that you can rely on to help you with your children. You need to have somebody that you can call and say, I can't get to them on time. Can you pick them up from school and take them home and feed them a decent dinner? We have to get to that space where we say, I need you to take them for the weekend because I just can't. I just cannot. You might have to call them at 3 a.m. and say, I just cannot. If you're sick, a lot of times we feel like, husbands, when they're sick, the theatrics. Oh, the theatrics. It was so funny because it was literally just was it last month? We were both sick and I got hit first. And it was just crazy. My stomach was killing me. I was just like, I can't eat anything. I just felt nauseous all day. My head was bothering me. I had the chills, the achy body. I didn't have a fever, so it wasn't like officially the flu, but I was just like, I feel horrible. He said, oh, well, I'm going to work. And I was home with babies. They were both home with me. I forgot why they were both home with me. I don't even remember, but they were both home, and he wasn't. That's what I do remember. That's the part I do remember. And he immediately, probably like 2 days later, he wound up getting the same bug, and he was down for the count. And when I was sick, I had to still get up, feeling nauseous, and get the girls to school, but he just got to turn the alarms off and he was done for the day. I was like, oh. So while you're sick, I take the girls to school. When I'm sick, I take the girls to school. Okay. But honestly, we need to get to that space where we have a village. We need to be comfortable enough to say, you know what, I feel horrible. Can you come pick up the kids and take them to school for me? And yes, it's going to be inconvenient for whoever you're calling. Yes. Yes, it is. Yes. You are going to inconvenience people when you ask for help. You are. They may say, oh, it's not a problem, but guess what? For some people, it is an issue. But if you love them and if you're truly creating the community and the village that you need, yes, it's an inconvenience, but it's okay. It's genuinely okay. Yes, I'm going to have to rearrange some things right now. But I got you because I know you would do the same for me. Not that you owe me, but knowing that you would. If I'm in a bind and I need you to come through for me, I know that you would. And that's what building that village is about. So we have to get to that space where we have a minimum of 5 people that we know we could call at any moment about anything, whether it's borrowing $20, whether it's watching your kids, whether it's picking you up because your car broke down on the side of the road. You need to have a minimum of 5 people that you can call that you know will come through for you. And you don't have to worry about you owing them. They're not looking for gas money when they have to come pick you up. They're not looking for babysitter fees. 5. Okay, so I want you to focus on building your community and creating that village. The second thing is you need to budget for your sanity. Budget for your sanity. You need to get in a space where you budget your time and you budget your money. You need to have a level of selfishness that comes to take care of you. Yes.
I mean, it's exactly like, I got a housekeeper. My mother kept saying, get a housekeeper. There's no reason why a professional woman with 2 jobs, a husband and kid, you're in a sorority, you're in the church life, you don't have 6 to 8 hours a week to clean your house. You don't have it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, no, my grandmother was a housekeeper. How dare I disrespect, I'm totally pro-black. And, she said, you need a housekeeper. You can't do it. And I got a housekeeper, and I had to cut something else out to get my housekeeper. But I wouldn't trade her in for nothing in the world. She comes every 2 weeks and has saved my marriage. Because now I have time to come here. If I did not have a housekeeper, I could not be here with you, because most of us would be home.
It's Saturday morning. Saturday morning, you got the laundry, you got basketball practice, you have dance class that's going on right now. All of that.
So with the housekeeper, I'm able to, and that's something that I had to cut. I couldn't get my nails done. I had to cut something else out. But that was something that I'm so happy I did. I was talking to Pastor about it. I was like, I'm so happy I did that for my life, because it has changed the entire game.
Nice.
And it's freed me up. And so many of us feel that we have to do that for whatever reason. But you got to budget for your peace of mind. And that was my peace of mind. I didn't know it at the time, but now that I've done it, everybody get a housekeeper, please, Lord. I tell women that all the time. I promise you, wherever I go, get you a housekeeper.
Absolutely.
And also, and employ somebody else. You helping contribute to the government, and the government to the economy. Get you a housekeeper, because it will change your entire life.
And there are people who, because a lot of times we have negative connotations with housekeepers.
Yes.
But there are people who genuinely like to clean.
Yes.
There literally are some housekeepers and cleaning services, and they are passionate. They love to see the vacuum lines in the floor, and they like to do it. I like to see them. I don't like to do it. But there are some people who genuinely love it. So we have to get in that mindset of understanding that you're not degrading anybody by hiring a housekeeper.
And it's not lazy too. As women, we feel, oh, something's wrong with me because I'm not. That is old school. That is old school. We gotta get over that. I mean, because it took me a while to get there. It took me months to actually call somebody and say, I need help with this.
And too often, and as I said, too often we struggle with that, and really getting in the space where, again, so many of us were raised around our grandmothers and mothers who had the old school mentality, so that was still being passed down. So we're all in this space right now where we're trying to break and shift from the old school mentality, taking what's good, but also understanding the change in times and understanding that we're not living the same life that our grandmothers did. We're not, who in here is a stay-at-home mom? Like not work from home, stay at home. Okay, and it's a good 30 of us in here.